Hi, I'm Dr. Maneesh Gupta. I'm a senior consultant psychiatrist based in Dwarka, Delhi. I'm going to talk to you today about depression. Depression is a very common illness and it affects 1 out of 4 people across the world. 1 out of 4. That's a very huge proportion of a population that is going to suffer from depression or already has. WHO has found that all across the world depression is the fastest growing illness. Fastest. Even faster than cardiovascular disease. Even faster than stroke, infectious diseases put together. That is why it is important that we understand what depression is. Depression is not merely sadness, and that is a big myth that people have. Depression merely means that the chemicals in your brain are not functioning as well as they should. And these chemicals are those that help you to control your emotions, your behavior, and your relationships. Would you not want these chemicals to be under your control all the time? You would. But there are instances when these chemicals go out of control, and it can lead to hundreds of problems that keep on occurring and bothering us unreasonably. Unreasonable in frequency or unreasonable in intensity. And what could these problems be? Let us see. Darkness in front of the eyes, dizziness, lack of appetite, hearing weird tingling sounds in the ear, feeling weakness despite having a good diet, not having interest in doing anything, things which interested us earlier as well, not wanting to go out with friends, wanting to stay alone, feeling irritated, getting angry, short-temperedness which wasn't us before. There are many other symptoms as well. People come to us with heartache, not heart pain. They feel as if something heavy lies in the chest all the time. They also complain of the heart fluttering, palpitations, dhak 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 karta hai. These are all due to depression and not due to a cardiac disease. People come to us with breathing difficulties. They complain that suddenly I feel as if I am unable to breathe. Suddenly I gasp for breath. Something seems to stop my air from going inside the throat. That is also due to depression. Remember, depression, the illness which we psychiatrists are best trained to treat. Depression can cause loss of appetite. You might feel not hungry, barely hungry, or even if you eat, you might feel that the taste of food is bad. You might want more salt, less salt, more sugar, less sugar, and this would be without having any sugar problems. That is due to depression. Headache. One of the very common symptoms that we see in India in people suffering from depression is headache. Constant, recurring, chronic headaches. People suffer from it for many years before they agree to come and see us. And we find that these headaches are due to depression. Not due to stress, not due to lack of sleep, which many people attribute it to. They continue taking painkillers, sleeping tablets, anti-migraine tablets for many years, yet the headaches don't go away. But with proper treatment from a psychiatrist, headaches do go away and you can lead a normal, healthy life. Why is depression important to you? You might feel that because I live a normal, healthy life, no financial stresses, no relationship problems, everything seems fine in my life, I will not have depression. But that again is a myth. None of us are immune from depression. Remember, it is a chemical change inside our brain. It is not due to things happening outside. Whatever you are doing or have done in your life, whether you are rich or poor, whether you have a business, you're self-employed or you're not employed at all, doesn't make a difference. Depression can attack you at any time. The chemicals in the brain do not function as well as they should, and that is what brings about depression. It can be treated. Do not be pessimistic about it. It is today a treatable illness. You come to us, engage in treatment, be positive, look forward to getting back your healthy, happy life. As I say, we can bring back your smile. And how do we do that? Well, there are two main directions of treatment. One is medication. You take medicines which help the brain chemicals to go back to proper functioning, being balanced as they were earlier, helping you to feel happy, helping you to feel strong, helping you to feel that same interest, the enthusiasm and motivation that you had earlier. Medication will gradually help the chemicals to come back to normal. Medication will then support the chemicals to learn behaving normally, functioning normally. And then after an adequate period of time, we will withdraw the medicines if required. The chemicals will continue to function normally and you will remain with a smile. The second mechanism of treatment is psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is not counseling. Psychotherapy is a different mode of treatment. Yes, it is a talking treatment, but it involves you being an active participant as well. You talking to me about what's happening and me helping you to understand what's happening, helping you to find out ways in which you can change things, helping you in finding out ways in which you can intervene, you can reflect, you can challenge your own thoughts and replace them with positive thoughts. Psychotherapy is a very intensive process. It takes time, and not many people today have the patience for that, which is why medications are the preference. And medications are quite advanced. They do not have any major side effects. The longer you take them, the better you feel. And despite taking them for many years, your heart, your kidney, your liver, your lungs, they will not be affected at all. In fact, you will feel better. One of the key questions that I often get asked from family members is how can they contribute to the treatment? And there are very many important steps that you can take. The first step is encourage your family member to seek treatment. That is half the battle won. For a person to be able to accept that yes, there is a problem and yes, I need help from a psychiatrist. And you won half the battle then. You come to us, talk about your problems, we help you, diagnose you and provide you the way forward. Second, as a family member, you must always support somebody who is suffering from depression. Do not criticize them. Do not tell them that they are weak. And that is commonly said. Do not tell them to pull themselves together. That is not going to help. A person who has depression knows that he needs to pull himself together, but because he is unable to do so, that is exactly why he suffers from depression, and that is exactly why he needs help. So please bring your family members to us and we will help them bring back the smile. I'm going to talk now about relationships. As a psychiatrist, my role in relationship counseling is very important and often required by people who are either getting into a relationship or coming out of it or wanting to build up a relationship. This could be marriage, this could be partnership, this could be fiancé, this could be anything. You can name it as long as it's an emotional relationship and you feel that you want professional help, then do come to me. Relationships are important because they help in building things together. We share things, we share goals, we sacrifice for each other, we give to each other, we love each other. And the aim is to enjoy each other, to have a good time, to be happy together. That is what a relationship is. And you want to continue that relationship and nurture it and make it something which develops on its own towards a positive environment. If you find at any stage that there are obstacles which both of you together are unable to overcome, then seek a help. How do I help a couple who are in a relationship? Firstly, I would invite them both together. Let them tell me what the problems are. Sometimes the emotions are so strong that they might want to talk separately, which is acceptable as well. You tell me what the problems are, what the obstacles you feel are, and 90% of the time I find it's merely a difference of perspective. One person sees a glass half full, the other one sees it as a glass half empty. And my role is to get you to understand each other's perspective, to get you to respect each other, and to get you to love each other, despite the little eccentricities, the little faults that we all have, to build it up, so that we do no longer look at the faults, we look at the positives. Relationship counseling is very individualized, so it depends on your situation. But there are some general rules, and the rules are that if you are angry at each other, do not express it because you tend to get carried over. Shut yourself in a room or pick up the phone and tell me. I'm there to buffer you. I'm there to help you ventilate your emotions, not to your partner, but in a safe and effective environment. And if there are things that you want your partner to do, look also at what your partner wants from you. And that is of course a difficult thing, but with time it does happen. Other general rules are no alcohol, no abusing, not getting physical, not being disloyal, financial propriety. There are many other things, and you might want to read many case vignettes on my website, which would give you a glance on how I have worked together to help couples live happily together again. I'm going to talk now about your children. Yes, your children. They are the apple of your eye. They give you a lot of pleasure. But sometimes they don't listen to you, they don't study well, they irritate you, they beat other kids and you get complaints. And that is when you feel, oh God, who should I go to? Who can help me? A psychiatrist can. Whether you are parents or grandparents, if your child is behaving in a manner where you feel you cannot control him, or if a child is not able to study as effectively as he or she should, then please consult me before it gets into a habit, before it gets worse, before your child no longer is a child, becomes an adolescent or an adult, where the consequences of these behaviors or the lack of academic expertise is much more. How do I help? Well, first of all, I need to talk to the child. I need to talk to the child's primary carers, whether it is grandparents, parents, mother, or even an ayah. And do remember to bring your child's school copies along. But remember, if your child is less than 10 years old, I would speak to him perhaps for less time than I would speak to you, the primary carer. That is because a 10-year-old child does not have the mental capacity to be counseled. You cannot tell a child what to do and what not to do and expect him to understand that. You need to create an environment where gradually he imbibes the environmental culture and does what you expect him and what you want him to do. That is where behavior therapy works. That is why in children less than 10 years old, behavior therapy is a very important component, and it would involve parents, grandparents, siblings, and full-time maid if you have any. Medication is also available, but I use that for the very unwell, for a child who is so hyperactive that his brain doesn't settle down at all. for a child who cannot pay attention to a task for very long. Such a child would be doing very badly in academics, would not be keeping to boundaries, would be interrupting you, jumping around the house, would not even be watching TV consistently, and his speech would have delays or other improprieties. His teachers would say that he misses alphabets or he writes them opposite to how they are. Teachers might say he doesn't sit still in class, he disturbs other kids, or that he interrupts while she is talking or she is teaching. That is a child who does need help. And medication can help restore the balance of chemicals in his brain. We call it a dopamine imbalance, and we have medication that can rectify that imbalance such that a child gradually begins to look at his environment the way he should be looking at it. An environment which is facilitating, supporting and caring. Not an environment which is against him, but an environment which is his friend. And that is when your child would begin to develop skills, knowledge and behaviors the way a responsible adult should do. We might give this disturbance a name. Sometimes we call it conduct disorder and sometimes hyperkinetic disorder. But please remember, by whatever name we call it, it is a problem during the foundation stones of a child's life. If we do not get a psychiatrist to look at him now, it is going to be a much harder battle and a much more difficult battle later on in life. So do try and look at your child and see if he or she needs a smile, and bring him to me and I'll bring back the smile both on your face and your child's face. Thank you.